All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this evening as we look to close out the week, taking a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in the Forex market. So, without further ado, let's make sure we turn off any and all distractions. Grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we continue to do an amazing job of participating and engaging. That is how we can compress time frames and shorten the learning curve, right? And that's what it's all about here in the inner circle. So if everybody could drop me loud and clear, drop me a big one in the chat, and we could get this session on its way for this Thursday night. Let me close this out. Big day fundamentally, right? A lot of things came through as expected. But the first thing that I want to ask everybody, are you guys still having issues with your smart trader? I am having some major issues. So it keeps throwing my charts all out of whack. My trend is like nothing saving the way it's supposed to usually save. So yeah, it's down. I know. So I hit tech support up. I'm hopefully they get that yep. Yeah, it is. It is. So we'll do our best to get through it tonight. So let's take a look at the fundamentals. We know the Forex factory is working and trading economics is working. So we will start there as always. And today, right, a lot of numbers came through. Swiss National Bank came through at 50 basis points, right? So 0.5%. Now they are at 1%. What a difference a year makes, right? In regards to interest rates. So they're at a full 1%, and they're looking to potentially be even more aggressive, trying to tame inflation moving forward. So that Swiss currency has been pretty strong today. Also, we had the Eurozone came in at 50 basis points as expected. Okay, came through. And then your monetary policy statement, I haven't really got too much into details, but it was pretty hawkish coming out of the ECB, right? And hawkish moving into what could be a very cold winter with the energy crisis and everything, but got to get that inflation genie back in the bottle. So they're looking to stay aggressive. We saw the euros move today pretty good. Core retail sales came in, it's hanging in there, right? It's hanging in there. So it kind of plays into what Powell was saying yesterday. Retail sales in the United States and talking about how, you know, jobs, the jobs market is steady, is pretty strong. So that kind of falls right into retail sales, but negative 0.2%, that's kind of hanging around. So it kind of see what Chairman Powell is talking about. We haven't really gotten enough pain yet to where we see that retail sales number really show a major impact to the downside. So we can see here retail sales month over month, the same thing, that 0.6% projected 0.2%. Still hanging around. Unemployment claims up. Well, came in at 211, so that's down, right? Projected was 230K. So strong jobs market, just like he was talking about. So big day today in the market. We got some movement, which is what we were looking for. We were wondering if that the DXY and the US dollar was going to hold stable at that weekly support level, and it did. So we got a little boost in the dollar. It's fighting back a little bit. So we'll see how we close out the week. We got some retail numbers coming out for the UK at 2 a.m. right? So that may create a little bit of volatility. And then we've got PMI numbers. So the cycle continues for France, Germany, some major players in the Eurozone. So we will see what happens tomorrow. But this tomorrow could be a day where you get some good price action on a Friday. So we'll see where that goes. We've got here Japan. That was just recent here. Manufacturing shrinks the most in over 2 years. So we may see some policy changes moving forward into 2023. It might be a sleeper. They're gonna have to do something there. So we'll continue to keep an eye out on that. Australian private sector declines third month. So we're seeing tightening. We're seeing some tightening across the board. The UK consumer confidence edges up in December. So it'll be interesting. I haven't had a chance to read that article yet. Poundsterling.com, Sterling Live. It's one where I usually go check out some UK news. So I'll definitely read into that a little bit later. Been a super busy day. But that's that, right? Most of the rate hikes came through as expected. Has some hawkish tones out of the Eurozone, out of Switzerland. UK, not so much. But we'll continue. The UK was, I do want to go over for the UK. Where are we at here? From today, there is an article that I found here, right? This was for Europe, not that one. There was another one. I'll have to find it. In regards to, let me see, pound. No, I'll have to find it, guys. We'll post it in the Telegram, but it was just talking about how in the Bank of England, how everybody really wasn't on the same page, right, in regards to the forward guidance and what should happen next. So I'll get that article out to everybody. I thought it was in forex.com, but forexfactory.com that I read it, but maybe it wasn't. But anyway, Ryan, good evening, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well, bro. How are you, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Done with all the ripping and running.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So,
yeah. I thought I saw that same article because the votes were like 7-2.
Yeah, coming out of the UK, right? Out of the Bank of England.
I thought I saw the Forex Factory too. So I'll go back and double check.
Okay, yeah, because I think I'm overlooking it, but that was a pretty good article. So it'll be interesting going forward what they do, because they're not all on the same page. So
yeah,
we will see with that, but pretty clean across the board otherwise. So if we go over here and take a look at investing.com, oil shares water, right? After central bank shock, weekly gains on tap. So we continue to watch those oil prices as we head deep into the winter and into the new year. So that's that. This NZD, well, I guess we'll start here, right? Since I've left my chart here. This NZD USD, we posted a little 5-minute setup, and it is making some progress to the upside. So it made a correction, and now it's continuing to get long. So we got a target there, 63.96. So we'll see if we can get to that TP1. And then we got 64.40 is the upside target. So on this NZD USD, right, we've been eyeing coming into some key levels, right? It's been pretty strong, the New Zealand dollar, but we saw that the DXY, we'll look at that in a second, kind of held support at that weekly level, and we got a correction, right? We got a correction in the market. So that ended up pretty good setup. So here's the long-term swing, right? Back to the downside. And like right now, what happened to my fib that I had out here running? We'll put it back in. Okay. So we can see how we've come up into this 80-20 zone, and we finally did the dance, didn't hit the D extension though, and we got the break. And this little setup that you see on the 5-minute is playing the correction off of this daily support at 63.26, playing that correction back to the upside after a nice sizable move to the downside. So off that high, see, I can't even get well, we're running from bottom to top. So about 190 pips to the downside. So those are huge moves. They take a while, they float. That's why we recommend you trade them small. They do their thing, keep the wide stops, but now it's pressing back down, but we've got some corrective action here. So that's exactly why when you zoom in on the lower time frames, you can see, right, the 5-minute play, right? Or you can see it, you know, on your 15, right, how it's making that swing, right? Those are tradable. Those reversals are tradable, especially after the trend line breaks. Okay, so that's a nugget, right? So you guys that like to be in and out of setups, look for key levels, price to come into the key levels, exhaustion points using your fibs, and then look for the reversal, right? Enter the outer trend line breaks. Okay, so even if you didn't use a fib, right, you just still holding on. My goodness. right? If you take that off, right, it's just price action. Beautiful swing low. And then look at the, right, how many times have we seen it, right? The burst off the break of the inner trend line, got rangy on us, pulled back, and then is trying to continue along his path. Any questions on that NZD USD?
No questions there. On the smart trader tip, I've noticed some small things like as I've just been clicking around real quick for the measuring tool. You have to click first. When you click first, it'll stick wherever you want it, and then you drag.
Oh.
So it seems like they've been making some tweaks on the back end as far as updates to some of the functionality.
Yeah, so maybe they're coming with a new update, and it's got some bugs that they're trying to get out of there. So, oh yeah, appreciate it, man. Thank you. All right, it kind of got my menu messed up too. Like I keep fixing it and putting it in
mine is all over the
order.
place too.
Yeah, and then I lose it. So you never realize how convenient that stuff is until you get messed up. So so messed up again. Just that quick. Thanks for posting that article. And so let's take a look at the dollar. Okay. Higher time frame setup, right? We come right into that support. And we were thinking, hey, we might have that head and shoulders type of price action if it wants to move back up to retest that high. So the first little part of it, we're good, right? It's coming back down, testing that weekly support level. So that went according to the plan. And now we need that push back up, right? So this level right here in this zone, right, will put us at that weekly head and shoulders. But, you know, we'll have to see. We'll see when it gets to this level, if it wants to stay bullish and continue to push back long. But that's that first, if we get back above these daily levels here, we want to look at that high, right, coming in over here. Okay, look at that high, see if we can get to that target, right? Kind of similar to this one right here, playing off that high, straight across, right? So that's where we are. So we've got some bullish momentum. Maybe we get range bound, don't know, but we'll see. But we got some good momentum to the upside on the US dollar today. We're gonna go up here and check the, well, I was gonna say go up here, but check the Aussie CAD. And we've been waiting on that correction, and we started to get it. So, right, we know, hey, when we break a level, we like to come back and retest the level. And that's exactly what it's doing for now. Okay, so we know we've been trying to figure out, all right, on the daily, we've got a D extension that was hit. Okay, are we going to get that correction? And we're starting to see that to the downside, right? So like we always say, patience pays, right? It pays to be patient. So we come down to this level, right? And I think I took my fib from around there. Okay, you can see how it just turned over right at that B boundary, and we have it marked here from a while ago, last Saturday, that hey, we've got a daily D extension hitting this zone, and it just turned over, right? Just turned right over and broke the trend line. So whether or not you use the fibs or not at this level, we knew that there was a possibility that we might eventually reverse because we hit a daily D extension. Daily time frames control the lower time frames. So here was the breakout, right, of that consolidation. We got that daily D extension, and now we've turned over and come right back into this zone. So that was a nice play today as well. And we can see here just on the one, when you zoom in, that was a really good move. Okay, how it just broke down through those levels. That was a really good play. So off the high when that extension was hit, oops, let me redo that. There we go. Off the high, right, we come down almost 200 pips. Okay, so they take a while, give them some room, trade it small if you plan those larger swings, and just kind of let price do its thing. Any questions on that Aussie CAD? Okay. We got these hikes. All right, we got these hikes, aggressive tone out of Europe. New Zealand. I mean, out of Switzerland as well. So I'm interested to see the risk on, risk off situation. See if we do move into, um, a risk off scenario that lasts more than a day. It's been a crazy year. So we'll see if there's more downside to some of these commodity currencies. Now, I did listen to and I'll find that and post it to you. While I was driving today, I was able to listen to a representative from Goldman Sachs. He's calling um, potentially a 43 or 46% return on commodities next year. So they're calling commodities long in 2023. So I have to finish listening to it to get his overall explanation for it. But it's something to think about. Something to think about. Seeing commodities looking to gain some strength in 23. So I was like, wow, that was kind of eye-opening. So I'll make sure I go back and listen to the rest of that video, and then we'll get it posted for you all to review. But starting to think ahead into the new year. Let me hunt down my Aussie Swiss. We have right. So you can see here this push, right? This push, and then so that's a larger consolidation. But if you come into your daily levels, right? Once we put those daily levels, that area, that zone, oh, it's like that for everything now. Okay, I see what's going on. So when you come into your lower levels here on the daily, and you get some tighter zones, you can see that we've broken that level, right? And that's why we kind of draw them out and wait for it to occur, because look at that. Swiss National Bank came through, rate hike, said what they had to say, pretty aggressive. Hey, looking for the potential of further rate hikes in the future. And so now it's just a matter of, we're at this weekly level. Does it pull back to retest that 62.78 level? If it holds, right, then we get short, right? Or if we break below this level now, right, then we look for retesting of the zone. But right now, it's looking like it's trying to find some support at 62.05. So the breakout that we were waiting for happened. See if we can get a correction to retest that level, and then we'll look at the possibility for a further downside push. Any questions on the Aussie Swiss? No. All right.
No, sir.
Mm-hmm. Patience, everybody, right? So you're gonna spend most of your time in trading waiting, right? Waiting, right? You don't have to be in the market every day. You're gonna spend most of your time waiting for your setup, right? You do all of that prep work, right? So just wait for your setup to come through. Wait, let the price action dictate things. Okay, don't force it. All right. The Aussie yen is still bouncing around a bit. Coming down, right? Coming down. So weekly, for the week, we're down. And we can see here, this is something that I'm focused on right here, is that we formed that low, but you all can see, look, we got a high, right? We've got a new swing high. So I'm thinking we see further declines in this Aussie yen, right? Maybe back down and retest that 91.07 level. So now it's just a matter of finding the swing, right, to get short. So I'm thinking this move, because of what occurred today with these rate hikes, I'm thinking a further move down, right? Higher, lower high, right? And we might be headed lower, at least back to that 91.07 level. So I'm looking to get, for an opportunity to be bearish on that. Here's the break, right? How that came down. I'm thinking we're going to get further decline. So I'm going to eliminate this and continue to watch this to the downside. That's what I'm thinking on this Aussie yen. We're going to continue to watch the risk on, risk off situation, see what's happening with the stock market, right? What the sentiment is. But I'm thinking, right, a continuation short. The way things transpired today. Ryan, what are your thoughts on that? It's been, I mean, the yen cross has been kind of funny, but
Yeah, it looks like they're, at least some of them are starting to try to turn over. So I'm in agreement with you. So more down. We stayed below that 92. Oh, it's a 92,700. So I'm thinking more downward pressure there as well. At least potentially through the end of the year, and then we'll see how the beginning of the year starts.
Yeah. So I look for some moves on some on the lower time frames. Yeah, I think that might be.
Yeah.
Because it was ranging forever. Now it's starting to trend a little bit. That break that I saw today, I'm thinking that might continue to head down to the extension. So I'll just leave that right there for now and look for opportunity on some of these lower time frame charts to get a good short. If that's what it wants to do, but it may be on its way. We'll see. We'll see. It's got a lot to go through. Easier pairs to trade, but doesn't hurt to take a look at it. Aussie NZD, right? Still hovering around, right? Struggling to make a correction, right? Struggling to make a correction, right? Trying to push through those levels, still hanging in there, but still in this zone, right? But it's just moving sideways on us. Had some high hopes earlier in the week, but now it's just moving sideways, right? So it may take a while, just like the NZD CAD and the NZD USD to make his move. But we'll see how it hangs in there. This is just moved into a sideways range. So now we're looking at, hey, we need this price to break out. Like, look at that right there, right? So that's ranging. That's ranging. I'm gonna pull this out right now. That's ranging. That's struggling to gain some ground to the upside. So we need a catalyst for that. I don't know what it's going to be. Had to read up, but we're still in that 80-20 zone. It's just taking forever. So that's that on the Aussie NZD. Aussie dollar. Right. Finally starting to get some price action, but it's a matter if that move on the dollar is going to sustain itself to the upside. Here's that zone we had mapped out where we thought we may see it start to struggle, and it did, right? So if we look at the daily, right in that 61.8 zone, that's a nice bearish candlestick right there. So does it make sense for it to retest a candlestick that large, right? At least 50%? Yes. But this one is going to be interesting, right? Because it's still in this area that has been for a while chopping around. We'll see after it retests this candle if we can start breaking through some of these zones, making lower lows and lower highs. Right, but down. That was that candle today was almost a 200 pip candle. So we'll see. It's going to take some good price action to take back all of it, but we're in that zone and we got a good reaction to the downside. So I'm looking bearish, but I want to see some more evidence first. Right, let it pull back. Get this out of here. That was the move up. Just want to look at the price action. It's for what do we have? It's overextended. We should be forming a low, right? So that should be, once that low forms, right, looks something like this. And we probably already have it on the one. Moving down. That, right? This right here on your lower time frames, everybody, that's tradable. That's a tradable move. Okay. There we go. See that? It's tradable. Be boundary formed. You go down to your 15 minutes, your 5, right? You try to make a play on that. Okay. See that? Those are easy ones to pick off. And you start to see that no matter what the pair, right? It all looks the same, right? When you know what to look for. Oops. I'll run that one. I'll just run it off this last low. That's straight to your low right there. Right. See? It's already hit. And that's rolling. So Ozzy's going back and forth so much. But there's a move right there. Right? So you can come back to your 1 hour and say, you know what? Where's my target? Follow me now, because if you could get this down, you could do some damage in this market. All right, I'm trying to tell you guys. So here, look, you got your B boundary, you got your 80-20. You're looking for reactions in the market for reversals. The fibs really help you with that. Okay, and you can say a target too. Understanding how to place your fibs really can help you with that. See? So you can say, hey, that's my TP1, my TP2. Okay. If you're trading now, so that's a reversal, right? We got a huge down move. That's a reversal play. If you're waiting to get short, like we talked about coming off the higher time frame for the larger move, then you wanted to go in this direction anyway, right? You wanted to come back up in this zone. So you might as well make money off of it. Right? Okay. You start out in trading, and a lot of people tell you, right? Only trade with the trend. But the market moves in waves, right? And depending on what time frame you trade on is relative, right? It's all relative because that trend is up right now. It's moving up. It's making a swing. It's making a correction. And we know that that move occurs. So we don't have any fear in taking that. No fear in taking that. But that's amazing how that looks, right? And then you go to your other dollar cross. And look what you got. It's the beautiful thing about the Forex market. It's so pattern driven. So pattern driven. That's a commodity currency paired up with the dollar. The Aussie dollar is commodity currency paired up with the dollar. Look at the swing. That's all. That's a mirror image, right? Pretty much 40 pips, just like that. Okay. Right. See here on the 4, see what it's doing? Because the market moves in waves, right? It's overextended. Whatever that low was, right? Pretty soon that new fib is going to form. You should already have it on the 1. You might as well be looking at the Aussie dollar, right? See? Bang. Okay. That's an 80-20. See? B boundary, 118, 127. Right? Can't make this stuff up. Right? So you like those tighter setups, right? There you go. Right? Put your stop below the low, right? You come in off the trend line break. Okay. Swing low, trend line break. Right. That 15 pips or so, trying to get 30, 30 at a 2-to-1, 1 to 1.5, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, whatever. Right. That target is like 60. It's going to get it too in a hurry. And that's on a 5-minute chart. Right? If you don't catch it initially, right, like I did, that's why I posted, right, showing it diagrammed off a pullback. It didn't catch the initial break, but it pulled back, see? And now it's rolling. Right? That's right there in real time. You do the same thing over and over again. Any questions?
Benny, just a quick one. If you want to trade on a 5 minutes, what is your reference point on the lower time frame?
You use 1 hour 15.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 hour 15. The key is really, right? The key is just really the frequency in which you want to trade, right? So, your 1 hour 15, right? If you're looking for more frequent AB boundary setups, the 4, of course, is going to be a little slower for those that set up. Like you see how we don't have a new AB boundary yet. We're about to when that closes out. I think this one probably was the low candle, right? That's probably why it hasn't formed. Maybe not. But see how it hasn't formed here yet. But you're going to get more frequent waves, right, on your 1 hour, your 15-minute things like that. Like this one was just crazy and impulsive. Nothing you could do about that one. This one really didn't have any type of correction, but you didn't necessarily, depending on how aggressive you might have drawn your trend lines, you didn't, even if you would have took it there after that, I doubt it. But at this point you wouldn't. But just talking about this one, if you're drawing your trend line, you might not have even gotten a trend line break on that, right? The way it moved. But you wouldn't have probably been looking to get short off of that anyway, because that was an impulsive move that broke the 64 level. But when you're looking at this one here, right, that's clean, right? Kind of pushed up a little bit, but oftentimes when you get this type of scenario here, and you'll notice it the more you do it, a lot of times it didn't even break your trend line. It might have pushed up against it and then dropped, but then you got a clean break here, right? So like you use your mother chart, like your 1 hour, your 15, your 5 minute, you should be good. You should be good on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And it's a nice tight entry, right? And then the thing is like, until you get used to doing it, even though you have a smaller stop, and the way you rake your risk management out, you take your risk, you get divided by your stop, right? It may say, well, this is only a 15 pip stop, and it says I could trade at $3 instead of 50 cents or whatnot. You still want to test it out. I would still, if I'm starting to do it, trade small. Trade small, even though you can trade bigger because your stop loss is tighter. I would still, I would trade small until I got used to the price action, and then start to scale it up from there, So even though your 1% might come out at being able to trade 3 mini lots instead of 3 micros, I would still scale it down, man. 0.5%, 1/4% or something until you get used to the price action, right? So, but that's it, those reactions, right? So we know, look, B boundary, right? That's why we teach it that way. B boundary is a sweet spot. 118, 127 zone is a sweet spot. Even if you're with the trend and you get to a sweet spot zone with the trend, like a 61.8 level, right? So if you're looking to get short, and yeah, they changed all of this, right? It's like that for every function now. I see. Okay. Yeah. So, but you know what this is like then, though. That's like trading, dude. You have to click it first.
You're right.
You have to click on trading, because I know when I go over to trading, you always get messed up at first, right? So if we've got a down AB boundary, okay, Like so, even when you get up to your, think about it now, when you get up to your sweet spot zones, right? 61/8 or whatnot, you still at that point can drop down. If this is a 1 hour and you want to trade with the trend, you still could drop down to your 5 minute, right? And I know there's some of us in the group that do that, right? You still could drop down to your 5 minute. So if this is a 1 hour or 15, you still can drop down to your 5 minute when it gets to that point and look to do the same thing for a tighter entry. Right? So it's totally up to you and the type of trader that you're evolving into. You know, how you want to trade these setups. It also depends on lifestyle. You know, what you can do. Can you be, you know, in front of the charts? You know, and being able to catch those breaks, or maybe you preset and get alarms or something like that. Where there's a will, there's a way. Right? That's what I'm trying to say. So that's that on the Aussie dollar and the New Zealand dollar. So those are that was playing out pretty good. All right, that was working out pretty good. It's been a solid week, in which it is a highly volatile week. It's been pretty good on the setups. And take a look at the Euro USD. See what we got. Right, kind of bullish, right? Hawkish. Okay, sentiment. Hey, we're right up here around that zone. Right, it's pushed and made its way. Right, it's broken out and pushed and made its way to that 118, 127 zone from the daily. So notice it's just a matter of what it wants to do. Right, look at that bounce. This is just nuts right here. So it's trying to get back to that high. Right, it's running right now. Okay, so you can see, right, you could play any of those. You see that break? Right, how it held up. Look how it held up here. Right? In that zone, that weekly level 106 that we talked about, trying to break back below it, it didn't. Held at the trend line, and now look. Right? If you come down to your 15, you come down to your 5. That's the move right there. Right? Only thing we don't have is that here, I'll link it down. Okay. Right? This is what we always talk about, just spatial intelligence. Like once you see it, you got it. All right, there we go. See how that's breaking back up above there? All right. Play. It just depends on how granular you want to get with it. Right, so that's coming back. We know it's not just a line, it's a zone, support and resistance, but you can see how it's making that play. Right, so it's all types of small plays that you could take advantage of, but it's going to move in a wave. Look, see that? You go to your 5 minute, it's the same thing. Look, you're just zooming in. Right? It didn't come through right on the lower time frame, so I'll just get rid of it. Did you guys see it? You see the break and the reversal? That's what we do. We trade reversals. So even it would appear to be like kind of, hey, that small reversal movement off the 4, it looks enormous, like an enormous play on your lower time frames. See? That's all we're looking for. Reversal opportunities. All right. And let's take a look at the pound dollar. You guys just find your time and rep it out. Rep it out. You'll get it. Look how it's hanging in that zone. Okay. Not doing too much yet. Got a huge bearish candlestick there. Look. So when you look at this now, see how we got that reaction because of everything that happened today. And you see how that's coming back. We know right now what's going on the lower time frames. Look. Boom. Trend line break. Got to move to the downside. Isn't that amazing? Right? Another dollar cross. That's reversing. Look at that. See? So look, repetition, the mother of all skill. right? There's your play. Use that smart fib. Let it identify those reversal zones for you if these are the type of setups that you like, right? You could be very successful trading corrections, right? Huge impulse move to the downside, correction back up. See that? Even out the fit. Hey, I just want to get to that 1 hour TP1 target. I missed this one. Hey, you don't need them all. Right? Stop below the low. Let it do what it's going to do. Right? That's just good classic price action, everybody. The more you see it, more apt you'll be to take it, right? So it gave you, look, off this swing, it gave you a good bearish candle, right? Then it broke. I mean, a good bullish candle. Then it broke. And now it's just going, right? Like we always say, you figure out your risk, okay? Put it tighter than not, right? If you want, okay? That's a 4 hour support. Maybe put it below there. Maybe you want to put it right on that low. It's totally up to you how tight you want to trade it. But look. Yeah, the 100 pips for the week. Okay, it's nothing to sneeze at. But just wait. AB boundary drop down to the lower time frame. 80-20 zone drop down to the lower time frame. Right? You want to play it tight? See what you can do. Will they sometimes take off and totally collapse on you? Yep, that's why we got a stop loss, right? So a B boundary swing, we know sometimes what happens. It'll hit that 236 and then it'll just drop. Well, on those plays, you're gonna get stopped out. But that's part of the game. Okay? Of course, we get it sometimes where it pushes up, boom, hits the 236 and it goes down to that 118, 127 zone. That's why we have 80-20s. Okay? But that's all part of the game. You got a tighter stop, so you get stopped out. You know what you say? All right, then I'll catch you again at the 118, 127 zone. I'll redraw my trend lines, see if we can get a reaction, because that's all we're looking for. Questions, feedback, right? Any light bulb aha moments for anybody?
Yeah, just a quick aha moment. I think most of the times when the AB boundary forms and retraces to the 236 or the 382, I don't take it till it reaches the 618 or the 80-20. But now,
I get you.
I just realized that if there is that shallow retracement, I can go down to the lower time frame and trade a reversal.
Yes, because it's all we're looking for, right? It's a great observation. We're just looking for reactions, and we know what. Here's what's amazing about this whole thing, right? The fibs help us identify, right, target points and things like that. But in order, here's what's funny about the whole thing, right? When we a couple of weeks ago, we just went and started working on support and resistance, and we left it there, right? So because in reality, right, when you get a B boundary to form, in order for that B boundary to form, what has to happen? Somebody tell me.
becoming support.
Correct. It has to become a support, right? That 5 candle combination. So if I take this off, right? You got that. You see it? That's support. That's forming support. So there's a possibility for a reaction there. Right? And like you say, when you're looking at, Jeremy, like when you're looking at your pairs, right, that have high ATRs, like your that move a lot, right? Like your pound pairs, okay? Like you say, a move on a 5-minute chart, lower time frame charts, even that move back to the 3236 can be a move, right? A sizable move for somebody that's trying to just scout, right? Get in and out of a position, right? So once you get that, right, even back to that level was 20 plus pips, just back to that 236 level, and that 4-hour resistance, well, past support becoming resistance, right? So even on those moves, that's why a lot of times people like to trade, the GJ and things like that, because they move. So even that little move back to the 236, you might be like, you know what, I'm on a 5-minute, I made my money, I'm done. I'm not even going to this 382 target, right? Or you reduce your trade at this level and adjust your stop, however you want to set your trade plan up. But that's all we're doing, right? None of it's rocket science. None of it's rocket science. You're trying to find areas on the chart where price would react. It's the same thing when you're trading like harmonic patterns, which are all derived from the Fibonacci sequence, by the way, right? So you're looking for at that D point. What are we looking for at the D point on a harmonic pattern? You're looking for a reaction. That's all. So if you had like a harmonic pattern on your chart, right? Let me right. So if we had a harmonic, right? Like that. When you get to that D point, you're looking for a reaction. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for a reaction. Look for price to react. Right? That's it. That's it. And that's what we're doing with the fibs and tagging it and combining it with previous support and resistance levels is we're looking for, right? So we already know we had a 4-hour level there. That's why I have it in purple. You got a new AB boundary that formed, and then look, we got a reaction. That's all we're looking for. And there's times where we get the reaction we're looking for, and there's times where we don't. And we lose the trade. Right? And we have to be cool with that. And when we lose that trade, right, or we lose a series of trades, we don't go looking for a new strategy or start throwing all types of Christmas tree lights on our chart, right? You keep at it, you stick to it, you refine it, you decide what you like, what you don't like, and then you go from there. But that's how you do that, though. New AV boundary, I'm gonna drop down, wait for the trend line break. Start setting alarms, set alarms on your trend lines, things like that, right, to help you stay clued in, right? But those are nice moves, right? And you're not having to stay in them forever. Like we put earlier in the week, we put the NZD dollar and the NZD CAD, 80-20s off the higher time frames, and those took quite a while, but they eventually reacted. But at the same time, right, there's moves like this happening on the charts every day, right? Every single day. All right. Any questions? Yeah. Always. Indeed. Yes.
Yeah. And one thing that I've learned for the past week is that when I swing on the 4-hour on the daily ages, and that affects my patience. And so I kind of realized that if I enter on that time frames, I need to wait for about 3 to 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And on the 5-minute and the 15, it takes me 24 hours or 3 days and I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's helping me a lot.
Absolutely. And see, you're hanging in there with the process, right? Day by day to get to that point of discovery. And most people quit or they blow up before they even get to that point, you know, and they get discouraged. And it's like you just gotta keep going, because once you get it, you got it. Once you have your breakthrough, you have it. Like, for example, if we go back to this pound Aussie, just to give an example of what you're talking about. Right? So this is one, right, that some of us played, right? You had a double bottom line. This move wasn't gonna happen in 48 hours, right? Like that wasn't gonna happen in 48 hours. 72 hours, like that took a while, right? That took a while. So from the time, what day was that we posted and saw that bullish candlestick that popped out of that zone? That was what is this? November 15th, right? The D extension is ultimately here. Now I'm not in it anymore because it got stuck and started dancing around. I'm like, that's enough. But even from the time where it started struggling, right, up until that point, from the 15th, where are we at now? It's 600 pips later, you know, and we're at, it's a month, right? That's a month. So great observation, and kudos to you for hanging in there and having those discoveries to help you to become a better trader. Thanks for sharing. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Welcome. All right. So I wanted to right. We always say candlesticks are the sign language of the Forex market, right? So we have been for the last week or so going back on this EJ, right? We were talking about your ass bounce. It was dancing, doing the dance. And then we said, you know what? We're going to call it long because we can't just break back above 142.55 in this huge bullish candlestick, right? Sometimes the market's going to tell you what it wants to do, right? And look what it did, right? So, you know, hey, sometimes you just got to, that's 300 pips. Where is it at now? Like 280. You have to believe in yourself and believe in your analysis. And it doesn't happen overnight. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. So Ryan, we got that right. We got that right. Because for a while I'm like, for a while I'm like, I don't know. It's a good push to the downside, but that break back above that 142.55, especially on a daily time frame with a daily candle, that kind of told the tale. You know, it was leaning long anyway because it's the euro and it's been kind of strong making a run, but you know, that ended up a good play there, right? So that's just one that you note, you journal, and you say, you know what, I'm gonna remember that one when I see that on that daily time frame. So that one played out pretty good. So that was a Euro JPY. The Euro Aussie. Okay. Look at this, right? We've been waiting, everybody, right? Bang. Strong breakout. Probably come back to retest, right? Okay. See that? And that's what's got me, you know, really paying close attention to the Aussie, because it's across the board, right? It's across the board where we're seeing that decline. So that's what's got me really focusing on to see, man, is the Aussie dollar going to continue to move to the downside or not? Because it's not just one or two pairs, it's across the board that other currencies made a run. So against it, but here we are, right? Look at that. There's that break, right? And we were trying to figure out all that bouncing around. It was like, man, we seen the evening star, went back down to support. Okay. Then we came to support and it got long again. So we're like, hey, bottom of the range, top of the range, we eventually get a breakout, and we did. So what's going to be quite interesting is if it holds above the zone, right? Holds above that zone, and then we get a continuation. Look at that. Wow. Right. So that's one that you put on your radar and say, man, I wonder how much this is going to decline, and then pay attention to the zone here to see if it wants to stay above it, right? See if it holds, and if we get another swing low in this zone, this is a prime example, right? The price moves down and you start to get a low in that zone to form. That's another situation, right? Kind of just looking at price action outside of right, what we do with the fibs. You could just pull back into the zone like that, and it starts to form that swing low. Do you know, hey, I've got a straight bearish move that's impulsive into the zone, is holding, forming a low. Let me get on down to the lower time frames and see if it's ready to break a trend line, right? You guys follow me on that? Right, so if we get, let me see, bring these down. Let's cleaning up some things. Yep, cool, Jerry. So, right, we come down to the lower time frame. We've got a zone. If you want to draw it as a zone, you can draw it as a zone. That's fine. But we know that we've just had a huge impulsive move that broke through a major level. So I'm just going to come back down here and see what happens. Look at that. It's got a ways to go, right? And we see how this shapes up. So we know we're probably about to run into here. And we put the wave on. It's all math, right? Math and symmetry. So if we just run our fibs on the 5, look at that. See how that's coming down? So, hey, if we get down to this level, we'll say, hey, I'm gonna, right, draw a trend line there, right? So you can do a little forecasting. Like that. Say, hey, is it time for that euro to get long? If we get a correction back down into the zone, that would be the ideal spot. Now, can it form a low before that and take off again? Of course. But you say, you know, my sweet spot is here, right? My sweet spot is down in this level. So that would be my ideal setup. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, right? You don't just go try to catch it. You know, if this is your trade idea, stick to it. Okay? There we go. So that's the Euro Aussie. Another one, right? That because of what came out of the ECB today is look what we finally got on the Euro GBP. Nice bullish, right? Movement. And look what happened. Got above that zone. Got above that zone. Then it, like huge, right? So we come down to the lower time frames and look. Broke out. So now you got a similar situation. Do we come back down and then we hold? Can we get long? Right? Can we get long? Let the market dictate that. Be patient. This is why we always say, hey man, we just need a catalyst, right? We need a catalyst to get us the setups that we want. So we have to be patient. Maybe it doesn't happen on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday. It's a Thursday, you know? Maybe it doesn't happen for the week, but we just have to be patient. Okay. Look at that extended move. Now the market can ultimately do what it wants to do, but I say, hey, there's a chance that's going to come back down. That's going to correct, right? We got to get back and get some equilibrium going. That's extended, right? That's extended there, right? So now, right, I need to see, you know, what I'm looking like, right? I knew that was going to be there, right? We got that gap. Tinkerson and the Keys and price likes to gravitate, come back into equilibrium, right? So let's see, right? Still bullish on the one, but there's a chance for that correction to happen, right? You make the determination, right? Do I like playing that correction to the downside? Do I just want to hold to see if it forms a low and play the reversal back to the upside? The key is being able to identify the opportunity so you can make that type of decision for yourself. Okay? But look at that. Okay? Let me take this back off. But man, if you're a breakout trader, right? Look at that. It's nice. It's nice. See if we can get a pullback in the correction. All right, that's the Euro GBP. There was one more that I wanted to take a look at, and it was this pound Swissy. Right. So we see how that's turning over, right? Moving to the downside. Switch National Bank today, right? Difference in tones. Ryan's been talking about this for a while, right? And this scenario here where it's getting caught up in that zone, and we finally got to break back below that level. Huge bearish candlestick, right? Look at this. See that? So it's like, hey, impulsive move. Do we get a correction and a check back? Okay. Broke out of that zone. Right. Those are the setups that we like, right? See, that's starting to curl over a little bit. Okay, so you start to come down to your lower time frames and look at that. See? Look, you can even say here, with no trend line is moving sideways, like, hey, if I get a break, right, and a retest, and a hold of that level, okay. Maybe it's gonna give me some more upside momentum, say, like that. Okay. But I will wait, okay, because that trade can easily, right, the way it pushed through that zone, it can easily just be making a slight test like that, and then getting back short. So when it's sitting this close, right, past support, becoming future resistance, you say, you know what, I'm gonna make a play. I'm gonna make a break and a retest play on that. I'll try to get long. Right? See, there's a difference between saying, you know, where is the trade? Where's the setup? Where's the trade? And then actually wanting to learn how to trade. It's a big difference. It's a big difference. And I appreciate all of you being here on the grind, trying to figure out, how do I do this thing? I want to learn how to trade, okay? Because that's where the independence is. So that's that. Ryan, anything that you're looking at, any particular setups before we wrap things up?
No, you covered them, bro. I'm assessing right now. I have a couple small positions still sitting in. But overall, I'm just assessing, and I'm going to let the week wrap up, and then we'll look to kind of see how things slow down next week, if they slow down.
Yeah,
and start to wrap up the year.
That's it. That's it. Anybody have any questions before we wrap things up for this evening?
No.
No, we're good. All right. Well, that is it for this Thursday night session. I appreciate all of you being here. We appreciate all of your hard work. We appreciate all of you being members of the Inner Circle. And we look forward to seeing everybody Saturday, right? 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Forex Weekly Ritual. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.